He was proud of how calm he was. That was his quiet badge of honor. He didn't slam doors, he didn't shout. He didn't dominate conversations. He listened, waited, chose his words carefully, believing that respect was the strongest form of strength a man could carry. He thought patience made him safe. He didn't know it was slowly teaching him something else. He learned early that good men don't intimidate. They explain, they negotiate. They stay gentle even when frustrated. So when something bothered him, he brought it up the right way. Soft voice, careful timing. No accusations, just honesty. And at first he felt mature doing it. Like this was how healthy relationships worked. Calm felt like control, but nothing changed. The issue stayed, the behavior repeated. Sometimes she nodded, sometimes she laughed it off. Sometimes she told him he was overthinking. He told himself that was normal. Everyone misses things. Everyone needs reminders. So he tried again later. Same calm tone, same restraint. Same respect, same result. Nothing moved. What he didn't realize was that something was happening. Not externally, internally. His brain was watching the pattern form. Effort without outcome. Expression without response. Needs without acknowledgement. This is where psychology begins its quiet work. What isn't rewarded doesn't survive. And patience in this environment was being starved. Weeks passed, then months. Each time he spoke calmly and got nothing back, his nervous system logged the failure. Not emotionally, mechanically. The brain doesn't care about intentions. It cares about results. And the result was clear. Respectful communication produced silence, indifference, delay. His values were still intact, but his confidence in them was cracking. He started adjusting without noticing. His voice got firmer, his sentences shorter. He stopped cushioning his words. Still calm, still controlled, just sharper, and still nothing changed. That's when frustration arrived. Not as rage, but as confusion. Why doesn't this work? He wasn't asking to dominate. He was asking to be heard. Inside him, a quiet algorithm began running. Try something different. Increase intensity. Modify tone, shift delivery. Not because he wanted power, but because he wanted movement. The brain escalates when stillness fails. This isn't anger yet. It's problem-solving under pressure. The moment came without planning. A bad day, a repeated issue, one more dismissal. His voice rose, not screamed, raised. His body leaned forward. His words sharpened. And suddenly something changed. She stopped. She listened, she responded. The issue mattered now. In that instant, a dangerous lesson was learned. Anger didn't feel good. It felt wrong, but it worked. And the brain doesn't argue with what works. It stores it, files it away, marks it effective. What gets results gets repeated. He didn't become an angry man that day. He became a man whose nervous system had discovered a new lever. Later alone, he hated himself for it. He replayed the moment, wondering how he crossed a line he swore he never would. But he couldn't ignore the outcome. Calm failed, intensity succeeded. And once that contrast exists, innocence is gone. You can't unsee it. This is where the transformation truly begins. Not with yelling, not with cruelty, but with a man realizing that the version of himself he respects doesn't function in the relationship he's in. And once that realization takes root, something has to give. His behavior, his identity, or the relationship itself. The change didn't announce itself. It blended in. He didn't wake up angry. He woke up tired. Tired of explaining. Tired of choosing the right moment that never came. Tired of packaging his needs in softer and softer language just to avoid being dismissed. Exhaustion is anger's quiet predecessor. And by the time anger shows up, patience has already been bleeding out for months. He noticed something unsettling after that first raised voice. Things moved faster now. Conversations ended sooner. Promises were made. Adjustments happened. Not because she suddenly understood him better, but because the emotional temperature forced her to respond. His nervous system connected the dots before his morals could object. Calm was optional. Intensity was effective. That realization sat heavy in his chest. He tried to resist it. The next time an issue came up, he went back to being calm, almost exaggeratedly so. Slow voice, open posture, respectful phrasing, and once again nothing changed. The contrast was brutal. His brain didn't interpret this as coincidence. It interpreted it as data. Calm equals delay, intensity equals action. This is how conditioning works. Not through cruelty, but through patterns. The brain repeats what reduces friction and abandons what doesn't. He wasn't becoming a worse man. He was becoming an adapted one. But adaptation has a cost. Each time he escalated, even slightly, he felt a crack in his self-image. He started seeing a stranger in the mirror, a man who spoke sharper than he wanted to, a man whose jaw clenched too easily. She noticed the change too, but from the opposite side. To her, he was becoming difficult, unpredictable, too intense about small things. She didn't see the months of calm requests that led here. She only saw the final form. People judge behavior, not the history that produced it. And so she labeled the symptom, not the cause. Now both of them felt misunderstood. He felt unheard unless he escalated. She felt unsafe when he did. Each response reinforced the other's fear. He raised his voice to be taken seriously. She shut down or reacted defensively because his tone felt threatening. The loop tightened. Neither of them felt respected anymore. Inside him, a quiet conflict raged. He hated that anger worked. He hated that part of him felt relieved when it did. Relief is dangerous when it comes from becoming someone you don't admire. The fastest way to lose self-respect is to rely on a tool you despise. But without it, he felt invisible. This is where many patient men start questioning their own sanity. Was I always like this? Am I just pretending to be calm? The shame creeps in because society has taught him that anger equals failure. So he carries guilt for a behavior he was conditioned into. He doesn't see himself as trained. He sees himself as broken. She, meanwhile, begins rewriting the story. He used to be nice. Now he's angry. Something changed in him. She doesn't connect her pattern of non-response to his escalation. To her, the anger appears unprovoked. And once that narrative sets in, empathy drops. When intent is misunderstood, compassion disappears. The relationship becomes a place where he can't win. Calm makes him invisible. Intensity makes him the villain. Though he oscillates, sometimes he explodes. Sometimes he shuts down. Neither feels like him. Both feel like survival. And survival mode is where character slowly erodes. This is the crossroads most people never talk about. Not because it's dramatic, but because it's uncomfortable. When a relationship requires you to abandon your best traits to function, it forces a brutal question. Do you preserve the relationship or do you preserve yourself? And the answer to that question leads down three very different paths. Paths that don't just decide the fate of the relationship, but the kind of man he becomes long after it's over. The third path is the one nobody applauds because it doesn't look dramatic from the outside. No shouting, no pleading, no last chance speeches, just a quiet decision forming in a man who finally understands the pattern. He sees that the relationship doesn't respond to who he is, only to who he becomes when pushed. And that realization lands like a verdict. If anger is the entry fee, the cost will be his character. He begins to notice how his body reacts before his mind does. The tight chest, the shallow breath, the anticipation of conflict before a single word is spoken. This is no longer communication, it's conditioning. His nervous system has learned that peace is temporary and attention must be fought for. A relationship that requires constant escalation trains vigilance, not love. For the first time, he asks a question most people avoid. Not how do I fix this, but what is this turning me into? That question changes everything, because fixing assumes the structure is sound. This question admits the possibility that it isn't. You can't heal inside an environment that keeps reopening the wound. He sees now that patience wasn't his weakness. It was his offering, and it was never received. Calm wasn't ineffective because it lacked strength. It was ineffective because it wasn't valued. A partner who only responds to intensity doesn't want communication, they want disruption. And disruption always demands escalation over time. This is where clarity replaces resentment. He understands that staying will require one of two sacrifices. Either he sacrifices his voice and disappears into silence, or he sacrifices his values and becomes sharper, louder, more volatile. Neither option leads to growth. Both lead to erosion. Love that costs your self-respect is not love. It's slow self-abandonment. Leaving doesn't feel like victory. It feels like grief without an audience. He mourns the version of the relationship he believed in, the conversations he hoped would one day land, the man he wanted to remain. Walking away isn't about punishment, it's about preservation, about refusing to let a pattern rewrite his identity. From the outside, it looks sudden. From the inside, it's been building for a long time. Every ignored sentence, every dismissed concern, every time he had to raise his voice just to be acknowledged. No one leaves because of one argument. They leave because of one pattern. What surprises him most is what returns once he's gone. The calm, the patience, the version of himself he thought he'd lost. It wasn't gone, it was suppressed. Environment shapes behavior. Change the environment, and the man reappears. This is not proof that he was incompatible. It's proof that the dynamic was. This is the part rarely discussed. Some relationships don't fail because people don't love each other. They fail because the system they create rewards the wrong behaviors. Calm gets ignored, anger gets results. Over time, only one survives. And when that happens, good men are slowly trained out of themselves. The lesson isn't to become louder. It isn't to dominate early. It isn't to suppress emotion or perform toughness. The lesson is boundaries early. Clear, non-negotiable. Respect must respond to calm, or it isn't respect at all. If patience doesn't work at the beginning, it won't magically work later. The men who never become angry aren't the ones who suppress it best. They're the ones who refuse to stay where anger is required. They choose environments where their natural communication style is met, not dismissed. Where being calm doesn't mean being invisible. If this story felt uncomfortably familiar, don't ignore that reaction. Patterns repeat when they go unnamed. Share this with someone who needs language for what they're experiencing. And if you want more psychology-driven stories that expose the hidden mechanics behind relationships, subscribe. Awareness is the first step to breaking the cycle.